This is the first app ever to score the highest rating ever on Max Square. Be sure to stick around. What's up guys, this is Max Square, and today I'm going to be doing an application review on an app called Focus 2. So now what this allows you to do is pretty much add any focus or blur effect to your image. So let's jump right into it. So when you open up Focus 2, you're just greeted with a place to drag in your photo. So I'm just going to drag in a photo that I took, and I'm going to make this a little bigger just so we can see the whole controls. So at the bottom here we have a bunch of different options. Now these are your different types of lenses. Now when we open up the macro, it gives us two circles, and this will happen with any of the lens types. Your main one is what will be kept in focus, and the second one is kind of your margin or buffer, which will just give you some fading between the in focus and out of focus. And as I make this smaller or bigger, you'll notice that more of the image is becoming more blurred or more in focus. So let's say I wanted these pipes to be in focus here. I could just adjust the size. And then on the right side, we have this little panel with some extra options. We can adjust the aperture, which will adjust our focus. I generally like to keep this as full as possible. And then we also have our vignette. This always adds a nice little effect around the corner. And then you also have your vividness. Now the vividness really helps in this picture as you have a lot of bright colors, but it won't always help. It kind of oversaturates it, so you will have to, mess around with it. And if we wanted, we could also put the auto enhancement on, so it'll configure it to what it thinks is the best options for the image you dragged in. So now if we wanted to see what we had before and what we have now, we can simply just select the spacebar, and you can see this is what we started with and this is what we have now. Now, of course, you could just drag down the aperture so you have absolutely no blur if you just wanted to use the effects for the vignette and vividness, but of course you would be defeating the purpose of using Focus 2. So once you've got your image all set, you can go ahead and select the share option. Then it'll separate this into 3 different ways that you can get it out of this app. So you can just export it, which is the standard save as PNG or JPEG. You can also share it to Flickr, Facebook, or Twitter, or you can share it in AirDrop, messages, or email. Now, one of the most powerful features of this app is that you can export it to other applications. Now, here's some of the apps that this developer has created, such as Snapheal, and we also have iPhoto, Aperture, and Photoshop. Now, Photoshop is really cool because if I just tap this here, it'll just render it out, and then in a second or two, it'll launch Photoshop, and here you can see that Photoshop is now opening, and in a second or two, our image will pop up with a newly created document. So now I can finish off the project that I was working on straight in Photoshop. Now moving on to some of the windows, you can of course put this into full screen, but you can also open a new window. So if you want to be working on multiple images at the same time, then you can do that by just coming up to File, New Window. Now I only have a few cons with this app, and the first one is that you can't select a photo from this loading screen. You actually have to drag in the photo from your Finder or desktop, wherever you are. So that is the one thing. It's still a slight problem, but I'm sure they'll fix this in the future. And then the other thing, it has to do with the custom focus. So now let me just switch my lens to the custom, and here it'll give me a brush. Now, the image will start out of focus, and then you use the brush to bring certain parts of the image into focus. So let's say I wanted this little pipe here to be in focus, and I also could adjust my options by bringing down the size and the hardness. So let me adjust it to the size of this pipe. Now that I've got the pipe selected in red, if I just hover off, you can see that that is in focus and the rest is not. So the first thing is that you can't erase it. Now you can use the Command Z or undo to go back in steps, but you can't go in increments, and you can't come and erase it. Like if I messed up here or if I just smudged it, then I can't come back and erase it. So that's one little thing. And then the other thing is, of course, you want to be detailed with this to get a very accurate brush, and to do that you want to be able to zoom in, and you can't do that in this app. So that's another thing that I do not like. I'm just going to create a new document to show you some other types of lenses that you have with Focus 2. So this is just an image I found online, and I'm going to select the architecture, and I'm just going to rotate it to kind of keep the angle of the bridge. And you can do a whole bunch with this, and you can turn up the aperture so that just the bridge is in focus, Or if you wanted to be creative, you could even just keep the city in focus. And I was playing around with this effect a little earlier, and I got some really cool results. So let's say I've just worked on my photo, but I have this annoying branding at the bottom right. And this may not be the reason for you to do this, but you can also crop this. So let's say I select the crop image, then the right panel will come out with a few options. So we can tilt it by just tilting this slider, and you can see it's rotating the image there. But we can also just crop it, and what this will do is just zoom it in and out. So if you were hoping to crop it from the right to left, or just keep this part of the image in focus, then you can't do that. You actually have to zoom the whole image in. You've also got some presets here under the aspect ratio. You've got the original, landscape, wide, square, as well as portrait. Now this app costs $11.99, and while it might seem expensive at first, once you start to use it, you'll soon realize how powerful it really is. Now, if you are new to Mac Square Reviews, the way that I rate the app is by using the 5-square rating system. Now, this includes concept, is the idea sound, capability, what is it able and not able to do, customization, is it possible to change anything, if so, how much can you customize, compliance, does it function as it claims, and then lastly, cost, is the cost fair based on the 4 C's. So now it is time to rate the app. For concept, capability, customization, and compliance, I gave all 4 of those a 5 out of 5. So I thought that'd be a little quicker. I just summarized them all up. And last one, cost, I gave 4 out of 5. Now it's a little expensive. Honestly, if it was $10, I'd be really happy. Of course, if it was free, I'd be even happier. But a good price for this app would have been $10. I think $11.99 just kind of gets to me for some reason. I don't know, OCD. So this gives Focus 2 an outstanding rating. Now this is the first app that has ever scored such a high rating here on the Mac Square channel. So definitely be sure to go check that out. So guys, that is it for Focus 2. I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to go check it out in the Mac App Store, and you can check the links below. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.